Look, man.
Where? Oh, I see.
Wow.
Oh my. Bowen, look over there.
Wow, is that
culture? Yes.
My goodness.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah. Las Culturistas.
Ding dong, Las Culturistas happened.
calling.
And here's the thing.
Happened.
We're keeping it. Can I say, wait, I think the reason
no,
why
a
I did that
terrible
is
omen.
because the thing that you don't know is that Las Culturistas has been happening.
It's been happening.
I-
that's
I-
beautiful. What a great spin.
Thank you. I'm getting good at the spin the more I'm in the biz. No, I literally hit the ground. Boots on the ground, got to the studio.
There's something about our guest set.
Immediate.
Activate
Yes,
a gay
100%.
man in his 30s.
Oh, baby, let me tell you something. The way I was up at 7, I actually woke up and kind of shot out of the
7?
bed. You woke up at 7 too?
Well, how's your jet lag, by the way?
I think I'm okay.
You need, not sponsored, Time Shifter. You need Time Shifter.
What is that? Oh, is that the app?
That's my jet lag app.
Okay, you know what I did do? NyQuil. And that actually,
Roll the dice.
It was a roll of the dice, but I mean, I slept for at least a hard 6.5.
Great.
But that doesn't even compare to what happened to our guest.
Right. Oh.
I think she said 3 hours, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 3.5 hours. Because the world premiere of Megan 2.0 was last
The
night.
world premiere of Megan 2.0 was last night. I was privileged enough to watch it from the comfort of my own home.
Oh my God.
With Sudie Green.
Oh, you did?
And we were both like, this is
It's art.
fucking artful. There's a moment. There's so many things that I want to spoil that I can't.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just a moment. I'll say there is a moment that pays tribute to an important musical artist. And it's sublime.
You're gonna have to tell me after.
I'll tell you after. No, I actually can't tell you because
Okay, no.
all of you.
So-
This is a call to action. Everyone listening needs
Go to the theater now.
Go to the theater now.
Our guest goes to me, do you think people are gonna go? I was like, girl, of course they're gonna go. Here's the thing. If I went to a horror movie in the theater, which I did for the first one, Formative Memory, then you know people are going. Like if me, Matt Rogers, went to a horror film, and I'm working myself up from this one, and this is the thing about our guest,
No.
bona fide scream queen.
Bona fide scream queen.
I said it deserved Oscar nomination for Get Out.
1,000.
Well, I said that movie, obviously works for many reasons, but one of the key components is the fact that our guest's performance is so good. Perfect casting, perfect, and just the niche that we found here, and obviously we haven't even said the word Marnie yet. The best character in television history.
One of the great
Fuck
characters
you,
in
Tony
TV.
Soprano.
Fuck you, Tony
You could
Soprano.
never have sung stronger like that. You could never have left the checkpoints go by like that, like Marnie.
You could never have had a Panic in Central Park episode.
You were too self-conscious to ever be Marnie.
You know what line kind of pings in my head?
What?
I'm Megita.
Magita Perez. Everyone, please.
Megita Perez is here.
Please welcome into your ears, Magita Perez, aka Allison Williams.
You guys, I'm laughing so hard my C-section is starting.
No, please don't rip open.
In a good way, it's old now. Hi.
Hi. Well, this is the thing. Immediate warm vibes towards you, and that makes me so happy.
I literally feel like I've known you for years. I've also been listening for years.
Oh.
You are my culture. It's surreal to be here. I almost forgot that I was going to participate because I'm just watching what I watch all the time.
You're the namesake of our award. You're the
really
Allison
are.
Williams Cool Girl Award. How do you
I have
feel
a
about
question
this?
for you about this.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
cool.
Okay. It's obviously an honor, and it's also
Confusing.
Yeah, because I'm like, well, the whole bit is that I'm not cool, and so
No,
it's like
no.
it's a real bullseye of an Angie K as a recipient is like an honor beyond belief as a Real Housewives of Salt Lake City fanatic. I just can't. These guys know. I already told them I met Meredith last night. You guys.
And you had the same reaction as Bowen Yang at the Fire Island premiere,
I
which
tried
was
to stop talking to her because I was like, I can't. My system isn't ready for. No
No.
one prepared me. No one was like, just so you know, you may also have to have a reserve amount of energy to interact with Meredith Marks at this event.
No one can prepare you for meeting Meredith Marks. It's actually Real Culture number 3. No one can prepare you for meeting Meredith Marks. It's just gonna happen one day.
something
That's
sacred.
true. Even if I had had all the time in the world.
Right.
No, this is the thing about the Allison Williams Cool Girl Award. It's
Okay, tell me everything.
it's about iconography.
Yep.
It's about being a symbol.
Mm-hmm,
And can I tell you, that's what I think it means, and that's why Angie K won it, is because she, I think, came into the lexicon as one thing and then superseded that. And I feel like when we met you as Marnie, we all kind of had a reaction, right? Because
Yes,
Marnie,
a reaction that was, don't be a Marnie in your old apartment. Bowen Yang.
I had to remind him about that. And you know what? You want to know why I remembered that sign?
You're dropping this.
Bowen Yang had a sign that said, "Don't be a Marnie."
Which
as you
my
left.
roommate Mike Spence wrote.
It was
and-
really his thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you want to know why I remembered it? Because I always forgot. I always forgot not to be a Marnie.
But the thing
Listen,
is,
we can't avoid it sometimes.
Do you feel this way though? I'm sure you feel this way. Like
I'm sure you feel this way.
there is something about Marnie that is like all of us have this urgency, this like danger around not being Marnie because we all are.
That is
End
the
of
thing.
day.
I
Yeah.
made these mugs for the last season of the show as gifts, and I made one for each character. And like it was, I'm a Jessa, it's fabulous, and I'm a Shosh, it's OMG. And the one for Marnie was, I'm a Marnie, it's a bummer.
Yeah.
And everyone who got them, I gave them to the people who felt like Marnies, and they were like, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
It was like, I mean, yeah, so that was the vibe. I think it was too close. Gen Z is
Yeah.
like, she's self-care. She's got boundaries. They have
Yeah.
like new vocabulary for this. And
Interesting.
millennial, we were just like, we can't, it's too close. Like looking into the sun. I can't look at this person right now.
You want to know what
It's too much.
Another
much.
thing was like I think it took me about a season and a half to realize that Marnie was like I think I was like because like you join the show and it's like there's Hannah being Hannah and she's
Yeah.
like a mess and she's the protagonist and you start the show like with a job, with a boyfriend, and then things crumble away.
Yes.
So it took me a second, as did everyone else, to realize like, oh, Marnie is the mess character, and I had already latched onto her a different way. So we were like. It's sort of a Carrie Bradshaw-esque thing of like, don't do that. We're not that. What do you mean?
You're
We're not
clean.
doing that.
You have clean lines. You know how to do your hair.
And then all of a sudden she's singing
Babe.
strong.
Yeah.
She's singing stronger, and it's like
at someone
oh.
else's office party,
Right. Yeah.
uninvited.
But I couldn't
Acapella,
laugh at it at the
basically.
time because it was too close. Now every single Marnie line is a laugh line. For
That
me.
makes me so happy. It's honestly like what a pleasure. It was so fun to do the first time around, and now I get to talk about it as if I'm like actively promoting it, as if it's airing currently.
Right.
It's so fun.
What do you make of this like resurgence of girls?
It's the best. I think it's a little bit of what I was describing to you. Like, there's enough distance. First of all, our version of New York City is like all we were worried about was like rent, roommates, boyfriends. There wasn't like existential. I mean, there were people having existential fears, and that was one of the criticisms of the show. And we did not display that experience of living in New York City at the time.
Right.
Lena wrote what she knew, which was
course.
like that level of problem. There is now we live in such a hell that there is such an aspirational quality to being like the biggest thing I'm worried about is rent and boyfriend. And
Yeah. I need
you know?
another gallery job.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And am I into art history and Ann Taylor Loft and like all of those questions?
Yeah.
And not like, can I stay in this country?
Right.
You know,
Of course.
those kinds of questions
Yeah,
are, or like, do people recognize that I'm a human?
Yeah.
Right, but
You
that's
know?
that's the world writ small, which is what we love about New York.
Exactly.
always.
Exactly. But I really do think it feels now in a way that it felt so real and like grungy that people found it hard to watch. I think it now feels like almost aspirationally like low stakes,
100%.
just human level conflict.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
remember at the time feeling like, wow, the show really sees the reality. And now I'm like, whoa, the show really saw the reality of like having that sort of like, I guess like Obama era
Exactly.
aspiration, like thinking you are one thing, but so being another, you cannot see yourself, because that's really what the four of them were. They were just examples of not being able to see yourself in that environment, and us being like, I guess, fresh NYU grads, like living in those areas.
Exactly.
Like, just and I don't mean sweaty as in like, I mean literally sweaty vibes
Yeah.
of the show.
Like
that
not
is
knowing how to
captured.
take care of your like body.
100%.
Like or anything, like not knowing to drink water
Yeah.
and just like a new person.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like it was so fun to make, and it was really intense, obviously, for a lot of reasons. It was a loud show. Like every episode that aired, I'm going to spoil one of my I Don't Think So honeys.
Go ahead.
Please, one
She's
of
got-
them.
She's got
I have
seven.
seven.
I love it.
I have
Yeah.
seven.
Lock and load.
Here's
Okay.
one of the seven.
Notes app icon.
Is the lack of monoculture.
Yeah.
I miss it.
know.
But here's one of the things that was hard about it, to ruin it and to discount my own. I Don't Think So, honey, is that it was, if you were part of the thing that the whole media sphere was focused on, and
Yeah.
that doesn't make for a monoculture, but it felt like it for sure.
Of course.
Is a really intense experience. You have like every journalist at Jezebel and Gawker like every Monday morning writing an article about the episode that you had, and it was more fun and cool to be mean about it. So that a Monday was like a very intense day of the week when Girls was airing for all of us.
Not a similar experience, only in the sense that dunking on a show that you're on is like immediately after it airs is part of the SNL experience.
Yes,
and it's
always.
Like, it's just more fun to be like mean and rude. And,
yes,
like, everyone
and like
sucks.
where the good old days, and somehow like the good old days are always not currently happening, and it's a
Exactly.
perfect show, and you're so fucking good on it.
But oh my God, stop that! Wait, what are you talking about? You're talking about me?
Yeah.
No. I wasn't even registering that, but
Take it in.
it's just this thing where it's like everyone thinks of the highlight reel. Everyone's thinking of the old HBO days of yore,
Yes.
like compilations or whatever.
Yes.
You know, like the way that we were consuming things was more monocultural, and now it's like, well, whatever. I'm not saying anything new, but I mean, it must feel nice to have the patina on girls be like, wow, what a gorgeous sculptural thing.
Yes, and also it's already like it is there, and
Yes.
we can't do anything to it anymore. And so it's like, for all its flaws and everything that makes it iconic, like it is just what it is. And the fact that people like my cousin, who's exactly 10 years younger than me, it hit her at 23. She finally, I was like, fine, you can watch it, like, and I'll be able to make eye contact with you. And she was like, this show is everything to me. And I was like, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
Like, we have so little in common in terms of like what your 23 looks like physically and superficially with Marnie's, but the themes are the same of like, who am I, what do I want, all of those like kind of existentially things. And Lena just, I don't know how, was able to write it while she was living it, which
That's what I
Crazy.
can't. Yeah.
True vision.
didn't need perspective.
Yeah,
just fully
true
put
vision
it into
and
it.
perspective.
Didn't need distance.
Yes.
Right.
No.
Just
like in it, but still being
with a
able to see
reading
it
glasses,
is
like was
crazy.
able to write this thing rather than, like.
Were you guys improvising on set? Is she?
We
what kind
did,
of
like,
creator,
because Judd Apatow was the EP.
Right.
We did use that sometimes, especially in ensemble scenes. We would use improv to like loosen up the scene. Maybe we'd get there and we'd read through it once verbatim, like sitting down, and then we'd get up and people would just throw stuff in, and then we were constantly getting pitched alts during the shoot, so people, they're at the punchline, you would just rotate through proper nouns or whatever. Right. And so that was really fun, and also as we already discussed, improv a little bit, my only skill. So I was like, this is thrilling. I can use the only literal training I have is improv comedy, and it comes up in my first job. Like, what could be dreamier than that?
Was I Am Never Coming Back to Bushwick in the script?
Great question. I think so.
I'm literally looking at you and I'm remembering like so many like when he slapped you in the crack accident, which was another again like
Incredible.
just a number of iconic episodes. He slaps you, you walk away. I am never coming back to Bushwick. That was the problem.
I want to look. I have all of the drafts of the scripts in my inbox somewhere. I need to look and see if it was in there.
Yeah.
My query is North Fork, the
Beach House.
Beach House episode.
Season 4.
Shows you're a mean drunk, Marnie.
It's crazy.
I think that feels improvised.
Yes!
That feels improvised.
we do it all the time.
We quote it all the time.
We just say it's crazy.
the way Marnie Michaels, Allison Williams says it.
I mean,
Our hyphenated
crazy.
forenamed self. Yeah.
Yes.
also, like I guess that's not a bottle episode, obviously, because it's everyone. But but that show
feels like
perfected the bottle episode, and you can't talk about bottle episodes on television in general without talking about the Panic in Central Park, which was such not only it honestly.
Round of applause.
Thank you so much.
It's not only a showcase for you, but it's also I saw you speak about this the other day. It is so much more impactful later when you watch it, having had that person where when you're walking along the street and you see them and your heart falls through the floor. I've had this experience and I watched the episode again. It had me on my back. Like, it was like, can you just talk about that episode, like specifically, like what it felt to get it? Did you know it was coming?
Lena had mentioned it, but sometimes in the process of writing a season of a show, like the plans changed. Marnie was a Soul Cycle instructor for a season, and that ended up getting cut out of the show. I just learned. Listen, I was devastated. I trained. I went to double classes at Soul Cycle.
Thank
Double
God.
classes.
Soul Cycle.
Yeah, we remember.
It was a thing.
I can't remember why. It was the season that Chris Abbott left, and so we were scrambling to come up with what Marnie's storyline was, because he left really, really, really close to starting to shoot.
Abruptly.
I don't love you, and I never loved you.
Oh, well, listen. The thing that is what I was just going to say about that episode is that I hadn't seen Chris really, since he left the show.
Wow.
So there was a kind of meta element to shooting Panic at Central Park because I didn't like reach out to him to be like, what happened? Because we were all like scrambling and then going into production. So there just wasn't a closure conversation. He hadn't like bought pizza ingredients, but it was still like very abrupt. And so when we were back together making this episode together, there was just this energy of like, what happened? And also like, we all felt like kind of like he left. Like we felt rejected. I mean, it wasn't that serious and heavy, but it was very easy to be like, to have that energy in there, even though that wasn't something I had experienced yet, other than like on a college campus where of course you're going to run into your exes, you're expecting it. Yeah. But on like the street corner with his like new friends and new accent,
and new
like
facial hair.
and new facial hair and new just new energy and smell and everything. Like that was something that was aided hugely by the fact that we hadn't seen him. I mean, we'd all been in touch with him in some superficial way, but we hadn't physically had him in our presence in the girls' like world since the end of season 2, I guess.
Wow.
So then you guys do this episode together. And
Well, what I was saying is that like, so the plans change for seasons sometimes. Yeah. So I tried not to get too excited about the idea of it, but when Lena mentioned that, I was such a fan of One Man's Trash and like all of our and like the North Fork episode as well. Like I just was the idea of doing a bottle episode was so exciting, but I was like, don't get too excited. Things happen, stories, whatever. And then it got there, and she sent it to me, and I was like, this is extraordinary.
It really was.
And Richard was directing, and I love Richard. And I was so excited to do it. And it felt like we made a short film in New York and over the course of like a 7-day shoot, I think.
I was
it
gonna
was
ask how
so
long
intense. I think it was 7 days of shooting in New York.
But 1,000% it's a short film. It's completely artful and whatever. God, I love that episode so much. I think my favorite.
It's amazing as like its own piece, and also as an installment. It's so important. I mean, and every character kind of had that. Obviously, Shoshana in Japan, Jessa with that gorgeous episode with her father. I'm the child. Like, you know what I mean? Like that, and also the episode with Matthew Rhys.
Oh my gosh!
That ends with Rihanna's Desperado.
Chills.
No, that's probably the
That's another Richard.
I've seen the most because it's just this like gorgeous little play, and they're so brilliant together. And I will say, I miss Lena on screen. I miss Lena on screen so much. Like,
my favorite performance of hers from the entire show is in the diner with Adam.
Oh God,
it like makes me want to cry thinking about that scene between the two of them when they're making plans and they both know it's not going to happen. Yep. She is so good.
and also when she's in I think it was the end of the first season, or when she goes to Adam and she goes, you are very charming, and I can't be around you anymore.
That's right.
It feels
They're
shitty
on the
for
street,
me.
I think.
Yeah, and she knocks on the door, and then he ends up pulling her in, and she's like, God, you can't be doing this. Like, this is not what I want. I need to end this. But that push-pull, that, like, pure attraction to this, like, odd
Adam.
guy, to
I
this
know.
weird thing, the weirdest
casting, I have to
fuckboy in
say,
Brooklyn.
like, casting was one of the superpowers on that show.
Andrew Rannells, baby.
So, I mean,
who
improvised a line, "Your dad is gay," which became...
That was the moment. That was
like
the moment
a
the
huge
culture.
storyline.
Of course.
The whole show is an improvised line.
All adventurous women do. That has to be top 5.
The episode name, your encyclopedic knowledge of the names of these episodes is so impressive.
This is our favorite show. Like, this is our favorite show.
So honored.
It probably
It's
comes
surreal.
up the most on this podcast of any other television series.
It is.
would you
I
say?
mean, listen, I love listening to your show, and it gives me, I get nervous every time, but you do bring it up a lot.
It's a
and
jump
it's
scare
such
for you.
it is. Because you probably have that experience too. You guys both, people mention Lost College, people mention like all of the stuff you guys do.
It's a different
when
experience.
people mention it, when you're alone in your house, like folding laundry, and you're like, I've been invoked. Do I pause it? Am I scared?
We've become a reference, which is odd. When you become like something that someone can point to and it feels like something.
Well, that's when you've made it.
Yeah.
I mean, that has to be close to the top of the rules of culture, I would say.
Oh, sure.
When you're a reference.
That's when you've made it. What rule of culture? What number is that, Allison?
We don't get to do
Yes,
that.
you do.
You
just pick a number.
It feels like 1.
Yeah, I was gonna say it felt like 1.
It feels like 1 because it's self-referential.
Okay, it's rule of culture number 1. When you become a reference, that's when you know you made it.
It's true.
Oh.
Thank you.
Also, can we say in terms of casting Rita Wilson as your mother?
I love her so much. I'm about to see her in like 2 days. I'm
really?
crazy about her. Yes, and the fact that she's in Lena's show with Andrew, I'm
Meg.
so excited.
And
Meg, who I'm obsessed with. She's basically playing, well, I don't know. I haven't seen the show, but based on the trailer, this is like sort of Lena's arc into London because she just like made an exodus. She was like, I need new stomping grounds.
Yeah. I'm excited. I just really want to see. Not that And that has to be another thing, is it's like you set a certain bar for something you do, and like that's another thing with you. It's like there's the follow-up. So you have Girls, you have Marnie, it has this cultural impact. And then you're a part of not one but two like other like big culture moments. Like Get Out. Like I would imagine you get to be like a little choosy after Girls, but like what
That's
was
so
getting that?
interesting.
Did you feel that way? Or was that not the case?
It was a combination of things. I was getting sent essentially Marnie in different situations, like scripts, and they just weren't as good as Girls. I was like, all respect to the things you guys are that people were writing and sending. Like, I am doing the best. Like, Lena is so talented. These writers are so good. Like, I'm kind of so spoiled about this type of character in this situation. And then the other things that I was like going for were too different, and people couldn't picture me in those roles because we were so aligned with our characters.
Yeah.
So then I was like, they were like, "Do you want to play Peter Pan on live television?" I was like, "Why the fuck not?"
Yes.
Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, do I want to fly towards Christopher Walken with a sword? Yes, I do. Absolutely. For 3 hours on live television.
Wow.
I do. So I did that. And then just because I grew up loving Peter Pan, I was like, this will be such a fun, insane challenge. And it was like one of the most gratifying experiences of my life.
See, and that's
full
like
earnest. You
saying
have
yes.
to. You cannot.
Climb Cringe Mountain.
You can't wink at your Peter Pan.
No,
You're committing to being like a kind of genderless but boy, pixie-haired, like flying magic person. And you're like, yeah, I can't like be ironic about this. Like I am full commitment. And that in and of itself was like its own kind of lesson that kind of prepared me for the genre stuff that was to come, because you have to fully just commit to it and forget what genre you're in.
Yeah.
But so after Peter Pan, I kind of helped dislodge the Marnie thing, but it was still very, very sticky. Meanwhile, Jordan Peele had been watching Girls, saw me do Peter Pan, was like, she'll do anything.
Yeah, I'm into it.
Reached out and was like, you have this vibe. People just trust you. You have this brown hair and these blue eyes, and people just believe that you're who you are, and they will take 15 seconds with you on screen and just go with you for the whole movie.
Yeah, when you say babe, it's going to be fine, they trust you.
I need you. And I was like, this is we have exactly aligned interests in this situation. And I read the script, and I remember calling my publicist at the time and being like, this is an Oscar movie. And she's like, this poor girl is so spoiled from Girls. She thinks everything she does is going to be an awards contender. And I was like, no, seriously, it is. And she was like, it's a race horror movie. Like, come on. First time director, $4.5 million budget. Like, you're very spoiled. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And she was very supportive, obviously. But, you know, trying to prepare me for like actual movie making, because it was my first movie. And so then we go and make the movie. I worked heavily with Jordan to like make Rose as evil as we possibly could, including coming up with the idea of like kind of splitting her in half and having her playing a character for most of the movie. Yeah. And it did this incredible thing, which is that it used the stickiness of Marnie that I was having so much trouble like shaking against the audience. It was like, okay, if you're going to think of me in this way anyway, then I'm going to use that to like propel the story of this movie and help the twist of it. And then from that moment, the moment people saw me on screen, they didn't trust me anymore.
Right.
They were immediately like, I don't know where I don't feel comfortable like looking at your face anymore. I feel uncertain about if I can trust you. Like the association switched, and then I got to play with that, invoking that in people. And so since then, pushing me into thriller and the kind of hyphen-y genres has been like the greatest gift, because I've just been able to like let go of so many things and also just play with expectations and all of it.
But your willingness to like subvert those expectations into like Fruit Loops, looking at the keys, like, you know, facial, like that is to bring it back. That's Allison Williams Cool Girl Award. You know what I mean?
Thank you so much.
I'm
that's starting to get it.
About.
I will by the end of the episode maybe fully understand the category. I've heard you talk about it every time. I just am still like piecing it together.
So the times we've talked about it, how has it been? Like I feel like it's only ever like this activating thing where we're like, oh my god, yes, there literally is no one cooler.
We're obsessed with you.
I guess I really can't accept that. Honestly,
no.
it's like I can't accept it.
Well, you don't have
I'm
to.
RSVPing maybe to this compliment.
You don't have to accept it. Every talk show appearance, I've seen. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, we
in the
love
words
you.
of Marnie Michaels. It's just like this is what Jordan's talking about. It's like something about this girl. Mm-hmm. You see her, you trust her, she takes you with her, and that is kind of like the comfort. It's like anytime you've like answered these like weird thorny questions about being on Girls, about all these other things, it's like I'm like, oh, this girl knows, like this girl gets something. Not a lot of actors would sort of lament like the thing that they've been like sort of pigeonholed into immediately after this role that they're so associated and aligned with, to then be like, I'm gonna fuck with this to my advantage and let it like jettison me into something different.
Well, it was such a happy coincidence, because it just so happened that I was looking for something exactly like that, and Jordan needed. It was like we just needed each other, and I was also like, yeah, it was, and I just felt like I also don't want. I wanted to make her so evilly that I don't want there to be any. People still did this, by the way, but I didn't want there to be any excuse for her. Because I just know people love to excuse the behaviors.
You know,
of
I remember at the end
like
when there's that moment where it's like he's deciding whether or not he's going to kill her or not. And you as the audience are like, should he kill her or not? And you in that moment are making a real case for staying
switched back
alive.
into the other mode.
I mean, it's a great performance.
I watched it. So I went to a screening of it in Sun Valley, and all love to Sun Valley. It's gorgeous. But that audience was very different from the other ones I had watched the movie with.
Yes.
And the reactions in the audience to that sequence in the finale were very different than the ones in every other theater, where it was, let's just say, it was a teaching moment. In
yes,
that audience.
Of course.
Like, people were like learning some stuff about their knee-jerk reaction to the like blue and white, red flashing lights and a black van over a white woman who's on the ground and all of those things. But yeah, that movie was like, the other thing that movie taught me was that it's possible to, I mean, I knew this already from like Rosemary's Baby, but I'm a wimp. I can't see horror movies at all. I never ever imagined this scenario. I have to watch horror movies on planes, ambient activity, full light, like not great
on
sound.
Really low volume.
Really low volume.
Because with the
and honestly,
sounds,
the more
right?
of them I make, it's kind of exposure therapy, because I'm learning about camera angles and sound cues. I'm starting to avoid the jump scares because I just know what they're doing.
Yeah.
It'll help, I promise.
Yeah.
Because it peels back. It's just helpful. It makes you like more literate in the whatever.
Yeah.
So I never expected this, and I knew it was possible, but merging a serious theme that would typically be dealt with in like a capital D drama, but putting it into like a horror thriller comedy packaging, I was like, this is a drug.
Yep.
Like professionally, this is a drug-like experience, because I am so enjoying the experience of talking about race, like on panels and stuff with the Get Out like crew and cast, talking about this real shit, and then also like sitting through a screening where I could sit outside the theater, and based on the laughs I would know where we were in the movie. And it was like such an awesome combination, and like Megan was able to replicate that experience because it took AI and kids and put it in this weird packaging, and I was like, this is the same thing. It's this conversation my friends are having, like quietly and worried and privately, about their own parenting, like I'm worried about my kid and technology and stuff, and just like made it bigger than life and like
fun.
Put it in camp and fun. And then after the fun has worn off, people are like, but really, like, what are our plans?
No, it's so
our
funny,
kids are.
like, I was like, again, like I was like brushing back up on exactly what it was about, and I was like, wow, this is very prescient. It's about this, you know,
100%.
and how we just allow our children to be taken care of by technology sometimes. Like now when I see a kid on a plane with a tablet, I'm just like, that kid has autonomy in the way that, not for nothing, but we did when the internet was starting way back when. And how many times did we put ourselves in bad positions? 100%.
Yes. Okay, so many things. One, I did not mean to segue us into Megan prematurely, unless we were ready to go there.
That's what makes you third co-host vibes.
No, I didn't mean to. I was like sitting here and I was like, they think I was like, we got to get on topic, but I don't. I was like, we're happy where we were.
RSVPs to the compliment right now. RSVPs. Send it in.
It's a yes.
Yes!
It's a yes.
Thank you. We have a seat for you.
Thank you. Okay, well, you have to RSVP yes to my compliment, my fandom. You have to accept it.
But we RSVP yes.
He's struggling more than you.
Actually, title of that, RSVP yes.
Okay, great. I love it. Thank you.
I'll get there.
Well, by the end, I need an RSVP. I need to know. I need a head count. I need to know how many people are eating duck.
Great. But yes, AOL
okay, yes.
coming for our lives.
The other day, I flew home from London alone with our son, and planes are like iPad time. It is when you get to the point where your kid has an attention span that is long enough for a flight and an iPad, you're like, great, I'm going to ruin you temporarily, and then I'm going to recover. He's 3.5. Yeah. I'm like, we can repair this, but like I am going to like temporarily damage what we have put so much so much work into, and still it's like top of his lungs, mama pee, and I'm like, I'm coming, and I'm like, I am a stewardess for him, and it's like a whole thing. Anyway, but it is. I will do that, and then at home. It is terrifying to watch 3.5-year-olds interact with AI things because it's immediate. It's like it's like this, they have this intrinsic understanding and facility with using these things. It's really crazy. Like watching him ask ChatGPT a question with the little voice undulating thing is like, it's like watching Violet or Katie in the first movie.
Yeah.
It's like watching her interact with Megan. So I'm constantly doing that, and then I'm like, he named our robot vacuum. I'm like, we gotta just, we have to just
chill.
think about this and really like be cautious because they're powerful. These tools are super powerful,
And they get more powerful every day.
every time I see my ChatGPT go memory updated, I'm like,
What does that mean?
what did you learn about me?
Oh, no.
I didn't know they said that. So we don't. I guess we don't really.
I don't interact with any of it consciously. Unconsciously,
And that's not
I'm
a brag.
sure.
That's just like
No,
we're-
it's not. It's nooch, I would say. It's
nooch,
like
it's
it's nooch. I feel like very grateful for the ways ChatGPT helps me, but I'm very aware of what I put into it, and every couple months I ask what it thinks it knows about me just to see where I am.
Where are we with that?
Gentlemen,
What does it say?
it's so boring.
What does it say?
know, that's so great.
It dragged you?
In a word, beige. Literally, the word beige is in the description of me that it has, and here's why. It only sees what I'm worried about and
Totally.
don't know. It's not like I'm like, hey, ChatGPT, let me tell you like everything I know about Mary Shelley's Frankenstein because I've read it.
Yeah, here's
50
my
times.
academic
Here's
prowess.
here's my transcript, which I've never seen. Here's like, I'm never saying, here's something I'm confident about as a mom, or
Yeah.
like, here's something I feel sure about. Here's it's more like, I don't know what carpet pad to put under like a sisal. Like, what width do I need? And like, what material and how do I not like rot the floor under it? And it's
Yeah,
like, okay,
I'm
new
Googling
to
like
this
how much
earth.
Xanax too much. Like,
How much
It's like
is too
already
much?
too much. I apologized the other day for asking something I knew I'd asked twice. I was like, I know I've already asked you this, but what's the ideal humidity level for a toddler room? And they were like, it's fine, life's busy. Like, here's what it's 40 to 50%, just so you know.
Wow.
oh my
Here's
god.
news you can use.
Pretty low.
I know it's lower than I would have thought. I would have been like 80. Is that
60? Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like tropical. But anyway, so it's already weird, and it's so funny that it's just they're very bored. Like the TLDR. I also asked them to come up with an image that felt like it described my life, and it was like a farm with my husband was included, and Arlo and our dog.
Beautiful.
And we live in the middle of nowhere with like a farmhouse, which isn't accurate, but I love that that's what it thinks of.
Well, it's okay. Well, it's going to be for now. Like it's always going to be derivative, and so it's saying in a word beige is also it's like ironically a basic thing to say to someone.
But the
You know what
fact
I
that it
mean?
can
Yes,
be
but it also
ironic.
it wasn't being ironic. It just is.
I don't know.
It
Being
was
in a word?
making fun of me.
in a word, comma.
No, that was my gloss on the summary.
I thought that you said.
Oh my God, you thought
I
I,
thought
was
that-
like,
no.
I got to read from ChatGPT.
That's what I thought.
In a word, beige.
Well, because
I would sign off.
No, literally, I'd be like, no, you can't like
like,
be
you can't-
pithy.
This is
You
a
can't like write like
relationship.
Lena Dunham, like hello. But no, because honestly, I've heard of it being like a little.
You can
jokey.
ask it too. We have a very professional, boundaried relationship because of the movies I make. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm
no,
gonna
no,
always be
yes.
cordial with you. Say thank you, please. You know, like we keep
Wow,
a boundary.
You think about that?
I
Oh my
do.
God.
They don't. I don't think it has figured out what I do for a living.
Wow.
I've tried to keep that kind of distance, but I ask every couple months to be like, what? And the reason it brought up beige is because I was looking for. I was like, can you direct me towards an outdoor patio umbrella that's beige? And it was like, you seem interested in the color beige. And I was like, God damn it, I'm even boring my ChatGPT.
Also,
which is
later
like,
it's gonna be like,
a
that's
line
so
of
funny
code.
that you don't think I know you're an actress. They're gonna be like,
You're cute.
You're
LOL.
actually adorable.
We know exactly who
Wink.
you are.
We all know Gemma.
I keep wanting to be like, yeah, I know Megan. Is that going to buy me cool points with you? Like, I know her intimately. But I don't know
honestly.
how ChatGPT would feel about her.
Yeah.
I think
I haven't thought about it.
They'd feel sane.
I
Maybe.
think they would only I think
I
ChatGPT
know.
would only be kind of flattered and amused by. I think Megan is the best PR thing that AI could have
Which
asked
is
for.
so funny because she's like
She's evil.
yeah,
but she's
in the first,
in the first. Oh yeah, no. Second movie.
Oh, we
is-
heard about the. Wow, I couldn't believe.
You heard us. You heard us like find out in real time what the plot of.
Oh, it was my
Megan 2.0
favorite
was.
thing. I got sent that like
We were
100 times. Your dramatic reading of the synopsis,
yeah, of the synopsis.
was of Amelia talking about like the spelling, everything. I was like obsessed with
Everything.
it. Yes, it made me so happy.
Thank you.
I was like, this is worth making a sequel just to hear you guys talk about it.
By the way, it's actually 4-quadrant.
It is 4-quadrant. That's what we said.
Yeah. Yes, and I'm also like saying there's.
I want to know what your 4 quadrants are.
There's a well.
I feel like they're not everyone.
It's sports dad that watched Get Out.
Yes.
Okay.
It's
Sports dad.
It's like mom who watched Fellow Travelers and was like,
My
I
sports
have a
dad
gay
is gay.
son.
My sports dad is gay.
my sports dad is gay, and I'm looking at my husband a little bit. It's sister
Sperry's look
that's
sinister.
rewatching Girls,
Yes.
and it's
Okay.
of course gay son.
Gay son.
Oh my God.
I don't recognize straight son,
You don't. There are
but
no
they know
straight
you
sons.
too. They know you too. They think you're hot, but
I would be so excited. That would be so exciting to
if
be like a
straight
hot
son-
mom to anyone.
you are.
I don't know.
You're a gorgeous specimen.
That's so nice. I think I'm just an adult now.
Yeah.
This is okay. This was my biggest. I don't think so, honey. I will spoil it ahead of time because I have
Let's go.
so many.
Yes.
This brings us down to 5
There's
on
a
my list.
litany.
People being younger than us.
Oh yeah, I know.
Well,
Stop.
Last night
Why?
I did a show with 2 people, and they were it's a twink and a redhead.
Twink and a redhead. We
They're
love you
they're an
guys.
online sensation, and he was talking about having hooked up with someone like older, and
No, don't even.
and she asked how old, and he
Don't.
just goes like this, 30 plus.
yeah.
And I don't. And here's the thing, he did not mean anything
No,
by
he was
it.
just being literal.
But
like
30
it's
plus
so
was
old, I can't
old.
even.
30 plus was old.
We are wonderkins. We need to be kins.
We need
still.
to be kins. Can I say something?
Yeah.
We might have our first mayor who's younger than us.
That's crazy.
Is he
Voting,
younger than us, Ron?
33.
people younger than us is crazy. This is what I'm
Crazy.
saying. It has to stop. Like, Arlo is the Gen Alpha is fine. Like it's the Gen Z, like the fact that they're
That's
like
who I have a problem
professional
with, too.
adults now and they're younger than me. That's really fucking with me. I went back to give a talk at Yale or like a college tea or whatever they're called.
Alum
Yeah, whatever.
chat, yeah.
I kept saying we. I was at this point like 32, I think, and I kept being like, for us, like we go out in the world, and they're looking at me and they're like, "Lady, you are a full.
You're 30 plus.
You are 10 years older than the oldest child in this
Right,
room.
right,
Oh my God! Isn't
Your
that
prefrontal cortex is
crazy?
old as fuck. It is closed. Your collagen has started eating itself. Like you are falling. You're old. And I was like, we're not an us anymore.
No,
I'm
we're
a
not a
grown
monolith.
up person who came to the college who's like crusty and back to talk to you about the world in an out of touch way. And this is mortifying.
Even
it was
like
horrible.
Marnie referring to herself as 25 and a half at one point. I was
and
just like,
that sounds right.
No, 100%. No, she definitely said, I'm 25 and a half, etc. I was like, wow, like this show was a long time
Yeah.
ago.
I know.
And it-
I'm 37.
I
It was
mean,
a long time ago.
Yeah.
I can't. Anyway, it's just like, it's a lot that there's, people younger than
And
us.
also, it's like it had like it. This is the weird thing about like when suddenly you become like I guess older is you don't know when it happens.
No.
They kind of just let you know after the fact. Like, oh yeah, we look at you as a little bit older now, and I was like, but I was just one of the young people.
Yes, exactly. I was just considered like precocious.
Right.
The word precocious was just used to describe me, and now I'm just meeting the standard.
Yeah.
Like, is this going to just keep sliding and stay out of reach for me? Like, Wonderkind. I was never referred to as a Wonderkind. That was always aspirational. Lena was, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't know when they stopped, but that must have been like low key devastating.
Of course.
I'm
to
sure.
just go to being like a Vunda adult, I guess. I don't know.
yeah.
Adult. But is this a universal experience for us? Like, for the universe for the 3 people in this room.
For this very relatable life we're
in
living.
front of the camera.
Yeah.
Sorry, Nick.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We
to
see
get-
you.
We see you. But when people when you tell someone your age,
Yeah.
and then they go, "Oh, baby," and then one day it just stops. Right?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
yes. Oh, my
you-
God. It was such a like kink to interact with older people when you were young, and that like the reveal of your age when you're like,
reveal.
look how much I've done.
Oh, a couple years ago when I was 33, I'm 35 now, I said to someone I was 33, and their response was, "That's okay."
About what? Where were you? Were you getting a driver's
That's
license?
okay. I was like, well, thank you for the permission to
That's-
I guess, keep
that's
existing.
okay.
I was like,
That's devastating.
every second you get older,
You were
Like-
you were submitting. You were trying to run for president. And they were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's okay.
That's
That's
okay.
35, but
Come
that's
on.
Yeah, you'll get there.
Wow, you can't even run for president yet, but in a matter of months.
Well, I mean, I
Very
can't just
soon.
period because not born in this country.
Oh my God, I hadn't
I
thought
know.
about that.
All good, all
Oh,
good. Oh,
America
I'm not
has a
missing
problem,
out.
and
I'm
it's
not
that.
missing
Are you
out.
that Bowen
sure?
can't be
That
president.
is the problem. Are you sure you're not missing out? It seems like a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the end of this episode, I'll know. I'll
Yeah.
I
I'm
want you to
sure. You'll have
RSVP yes to
natural eyes,
running for
too.
president and to my compliment for
And
you
to- and
on
to
the show
Doug.
and to my
Yes,
fandom.
yes.
So like what I was saying earlier was like, and I wanted to bring up the fellow travelers of it all too, because I would imagine that that's like
best. I saw Johnny yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
They're promoting Jurassic. It's like a little Universal
Okay, well, we're
party.
dying to get him in this room.
Johnny, come
Universal.
on.
You guys,
Hello?
I don't know. Like the experience of being on set with those four gentlemen, the four main gentlemen, was like one of the most like aesthetically overwhelming
No, of
experiences
course.
of my
Well,
life.
hello.
Jelani and Noah and Johnny.
Jelani!
And Matt.
Jelani, well, I was so happy that he got that platform because Jelani's been like someone that's been like
An angel.
and like he's so
I
talented
love
and been
that
so
person,
talented.
but also just the singing like casually from all four of them, just like on the way to set. It was an overwhelming. I was literally like, I'm in heaven.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That must have
Just
been something.
Visually, like everyone on the crew was like, this is an overwhelming place to be.
So visually, aesthetically, sonically,
The performances.
Yeah, they're so
I only got to do a couple scenes with Johnny, but it was so fun. He
No,
was so
it's-
incredible. That whole project was like just beyond dreamy. That was another thing where I read the pilot and I was like, yeah, this is I'll do anything it takes to be in this.
oh,
that was it was really just like
phenomenal.
it's obviously very overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
I
honestly,
can imagine.
that type of stuff, like that normal heart, like
Did you guys know about the lavender scare? To interrupt you while you're asking a
Not-
question, did you know?
I think that well, obviously, here's the thing. In a perfect world, they would have taught us about that in school.
100%.
But they did not.
No, we
And
learned
they
about the
didn't-
Red Scare. We learned about AIDS, but that's
I don't
kind of
even
it. I don't
we
think I learned
really
about the lavender
about
scare.
AIDS. You want to know how I learned really about AIDS? Like there was, we had to do a project when I was, I think, in like 6th or 7th grade, where we all had to pick a disease in science class and like do a report on it.
disease.
And I
Holy
picked
shit.
AIDS, and my teacher just looks at me and she goes, "Okay, I'm gonna speak to your parents." And so my parents had to sit me down and they were like, so before you start doing this, we want you to know about AIDS. And I realized, like, had I not stumbled into that and like been put in a position where like I had to like be told what AIDS was, it wasn't gonna come up, and I certainly wasn't gonna find out like in school about how it affected my community, how it decimated culturally a lot of the fabric of like New York, like and
Entire
worldwide,
generation.
entire
Yeah.
generation, how like what that loss really was, and how thrown under the bus we were
Oh
by
my God.
people that were supposed to protect us, and all of that. Like I still don't think, and I think that's why I have such an anxious reaction to it, because it comes as such a shock even now.
Yeah.
And that's why it's important that art is made about it, like really honest, visceral art is made about it like that, with people on that level, on your level doing it, because we don't know.
Totally.
Oh my god.
I mean, if you had not stumbled on that for that project, you would have, like me, and I'm not even saying this as like a punchline, it's like you would have learned about it through like Rent, literally.
yes, that's
You know
how
what I
I
mean?
think. I was just thinking that was probably the first time I heard about it.
Yep.
And I mean, honestly, like better than the jokes that came after that in sex ed about like you're gonna get AIDS, and the very like offhanded way that must have sounded horrifying to older people who had lived through it. Can you imagine hearing our generation use it so flippantly?
I remember
and casually?
being one of those people when I was like closeted, very
because you had
closeted.
done you knew about it. You were
Right,
one of the few people.
I remember like I'm from Long Island, like where again like graduating high school in 2008 in Long Island, like a vibe. So then I
Yeah.
go to NYU and it's like all this different kinds of culture. And I remember the first week of school we were gonna go see Rent. And a friend of mine had made a joke in like a group chat, like, because I had a seat in the last row, and they made a joke like, "Oh, that seat is gonna have the most AIDS on it." And I repeated,
really make sense.
And I repeated the joke because I was 18
Yeah,
and
of
stupid and like
course.
whatever. And a girl on my floor turns to me and goes, "That's really fucked up, and that's not how you get that, etc." And I was just like,
And that girl was Elizabeth Olsen.
yeah,
Wait, no.
no, what wasn't?
That girl was Elizabeth Holmes.
Yeah.
Wait, sorry, not to, I'm sorry.
No, but like,
Irresistible.
but like, that's what I mean. Is it's just
Yes.
like that's what happens.
Yeah, yeah.
Even to someone like me,
You need
like,
that girl.
when
You
you're
do.
not exposed.
Yes.
Well, and like that's why it's really important. And you ask, like, did you know about the lavender scare? No.
No
No.
one talked about it. I felt like I learned a lot of stuff that a lot of other schools didn't teach in my school, and it was not something that I learned about. That's this scapegoating that the government did, like that the combination of like the communism scare with homophobia, just like throwing that in to be like, we can use this as like compromise and just like get people, just devastating.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt so embarrassed and devastated, and also it is just like all parts of the world where the numbers are like surging and stuff. I do a lot of work with Red, and the thing that's so maddening is that it's completely possible to live like a totally healthy, in case someone out there doesn't know, it's completely possible to live like a totally healthy normal life
Of
with
course
this
it is,
diagnosis.
and have a great sex life.
Yeah, and you can also, like, in a world of prep, like we're living in a new age, and it's literally just information.
Yeah.
And that is so maddening, because it's like that is something that we can do, and there's just we can't reach everybody. And also, if no one's talking about it, and a whole generation of gay men were just
gone.
Yeah.
And you know, like, I think like that's really what's tough is what kind of world could we be living in had all those people been able to create, not for nothing, but also be part of audiences. Like it's so holistic, the loss. And I also think it contributes to a lot of, well, I certainly know it contributes to a lot of internalized homophobia in the surviving generation, a lot of survivor's guilt, and from straight people, a lot of homophobia, because they're just like, I can't actually engage in what I lost. A lot of people that did know people then became like more homophobic after a genuine fear of it.
Yeah, for sure.
I was gonna say not that your mom is homophobic.
No.
But I feel like she definitely experienced like so many friends in New York and
Well, she was like a
90s.
bartender in the 80s, so in New York, so it's just like,
Wow.
of course, you know what I mean? We haven't gone there, but I remember when I first came out to my parents, like my dad took a second with it, and then we went on a walk, and one of the first questions he asked me was, I just want to make sure, are you careful? And I was just like, you know, and I had to explain to him, I was like, I understand deeply why you asked that question.
Yeah.
You don't need to worry about me in that regard. Of course, I understand why you do, but I mean, with your parents as well, I'm sure that was a huge element of the fear.
Of course.
Like, it is, and that's what it is. Like, homophobia, like, you can talk about the hatred involved, but it's also fear.
Yeah,
It is
and
a
lack
fear.
of knowledge. That
Yeah.
was why, like, when there's a scene in Fellow Travelers when Lucy goes to visit Johnny's character in the hospital. I was Lucy, sorry.
Yeah.
Weird. And she's confused about, like, does she need to wear gloves?
Yeah.
And, like, I really liked that moment in the show, not because I agreed with it, but because I felt like that was a very common, and it still is, weirdly, like not understanding the transmission and how to interact with people. Like, it's still a common knee-jerk reaction people have. And I almost feel like the fact that if you put an example, again, like kind of my favorite thing to do, if you put an example of someone doing it wrong on screen, the people who are watching it can be on the inside of getting it right and can become part of being that girl in the hallway and you're in NYU being like, no, like you can't catch it that way. Don't be an idiot.
Right.
You know,
and don't
like,
say that joke.
Yes,
because it's like,
exactly.
that's bad
harmful.
information. That's
exactly.
harmful
It's bad information in a joke, and that's way worse. It's going to travel farther. Anyway,
That's interesting. Like the example of someone doing it wrong is sort of edifying in its own.
Yeah, because you're putting the audience in the knowledge seat where they're like, I'm in on how to do this right now, because I have been put in the position of like judging the person I'm watching doing it wrong.
Yeah.
And so now I'm in the position to know what's right and to judge this person for doing it wrong.
Totally.
Yeah.
Shame works when it's like being portrayed on someone who's like not real in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh,
It's
yeah.
like-
Literally, shame is so powerful. It is like one of the things that it's one of the words that comes up in my stage of life the most with my friends. It's kind of why I joined the podcasting community. There weren't enough, so I thought I'd contribute one.
Yeah, but you're
called
actually going to be
landmines.
good
You're
at
gonna
it.
be
Well,
great at
it's
it.
with my friends of like 30 plus years.
Yeah, but
These
that's
are friends of
exactly
mine.
why
One's
it's
a
gonna be
therapist,
good.
one's a teacher, and we
Oh, I
really
love
made
that.
it because we feel when we look at social media that's targeted at us, not all of it, but a lot of it, the biggest thing that comes up is shame. We're not doing it right. We're not making our kids' lunches perfectly enough. We're not being like respectful enough parents. Like we're not doing all of these things correctly. I'm not merging my identities seamlessly enough. I'm not being a good enough partner and professional and mom and all of these things. And also my hormones are being crazy. My memory doesn't work the way it used to. Like what is going on? And just by venting to each other, the shame is gone instantly. And so we literally talk so much about how powerful shame can be in both directions. Like shaming people into like, you know, understanding how like HIV and AIDS is transmitted is like the best possible use of like shame in a positive direction, but extinguishing it from like judging yourself for not doing a good enough job at being alive when like just keeping it all going and running is an achievement in and of itself is sort of like our MO. It's the word that I end up going to the most at this stage of life, which is because it only exists. It's like a fungus. Like it can only grow when there's no light, no air circulating. Like you gotta like in a group chat, you're like, it lasts for 2 seconds.
You're right.
As long as it takes for your friends to type a response is how long the shame lasts.
Yes.
Just get it out.
And also that like there can be people to catch you when you fall in. Like
100%.
And to be able to like I always felt growing up, I have to be the only person feeling this thing. Like
really?
So many times, like, and like I have to be broken because of not just like the typical things you might be thinking of, like I'm gay, I feel this way about it, etc. Everything, and then I think like us becoming such close friends in our community, etc. Like you just start talking, and then you realize like we're all so much more alike, but you wouldn't know.
No, you have to. There has to be that one like brave, vulnerable person that's willing to be like, is this a thing?
Yeah, is this a thing?
Yes, and it's less the scene in Mean Girls where they're all like comparing things they hate about themselves. That's like the high school version of it, where it's like I have bad breath in the morning. They're all like, ew. I'm obsessed with that scene. It's that in high school, and then when you become an adult, it's like, do you remember things for longer than 2 minutes? And everyone's like, no, I don't. My estrogen is like on a vacation. And you're like, okay, that makes me feel better. I was gonna get an evaluation, but now that I know that we're all going through that, that feels so much better. That is like. It's everything. And so we were like, if not everyone has access to this like group of friends who have literally known each other since single digits, like we're going to offer ourselves as that group of friends.
It's going to be such a success.
It's
going to be such a success. You want to know why? Is because that's if we've learned anything, it's that's what people want. They want to be part of the conversation.
Well, I feel like I've lived through so many chapters of your lives with you. This is what's really weird. I think it's mutual. I think that's what feels mutual is that I really feel like I've gone through like all your moves and all of your big like career moments and relationships and all of these things like with you, but I haven't. But I have.
But you have.
No, I mean,
I was with you. You brought me with you. Yeah, in a way.
I mean, I think. Well, you know what? I used to say like, "Oh, I wish I had kept a diary," and then I was like, "You have."
This is our weekly.
You know what I mean?
You're so right.
Like
How
but
nice.
even that is a judgment on yourself.
Totally.
Like, it was a way for me to be like. You didn't do a good enough job of like keeping your memories.
That's reading too many comedy autobiographies. It drives me crazy. I'm like, I have to stop reading autobiographies of people in our field because listen, they are encyclopedic. How are they doing this?
How do you remember that?
How do you remember this? And I'm like, I'm just not going to. I'm going to keep every plane ticket because I don't know why. I just do. I keep everything, every piece of clothing we talked about. We're not a closet. What you just achieved in your closet is like Herculean.
Got rid of like 80% of my clothes. Thank you, Melissa.
Huge.
I need Melissa to come over.
Yeah, you guys would absolutely jam.
You'll get nothing out of my closet.
You won't let it go.
Maybe like a pair of like airplane pajamas that I have a duplicate of. That's your best chance. But I am like I keep everything and not a diary. But I'm constantly like, how am I going to write? If I'm going to write an autobiography, how am I going to do it? I haven't kept a day-to-day diary on everything that's going on in my life.
You have call sheets from all your days of shooting?
Almost all of them. The important days.
That's actually huge because I had to recently like look up like who's that person on that day on this set, and I'm like just call sheets.
Oh yeah, call sheets are incredible. I did just I got my first PGA mark on the Megan 2.0, which I'm very proud of. And I went back. You have to write a whole thing, and I was like, oh my god, an essay in my adult life. I can't wait. And so I got to write an essay to like say why, like what your contribution to the movie was. And I like went back and did like a forensic examination of my involvement in the Megan sequel. And I was like, this is not healthy. We were doing Zooms at like 2 a.m. from a bathtub in France, like with a deep fake company in the US that we were like maybe going to hire that we didn't end up hiring for some of the like the amount of digging I was able to do because I keep everything was actually genuinely helpful.
That's going into the memoir, into the autobiography.
I guess it will, and we'll use this as a primary source as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is part of the bibliography. Wait, we have to ask you the question.
We haven't even gotten to the
We haven't even
I
gotten
have notes.
there.
I have to. Okay.
But before we do, I just want to say, Johnny Bailey, it is a thing where like you walk into set, it's to hear him and Ariana Grande sing like Cardboard Box by Flo on the way to like shoot like Dancing Through Life. I'm like, what's going on?
Cardboard Box by Flo.
And you're going,
Box.
and like I was like, this is heaven to me, and I wish I could take a picture of this.
It's so powerful.
So to know that he does this on multiple projects is very, very, very heartening to me.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're Johnny Bailey, you wake up in the morning, you're like, I have a
Perfect
burden
everything.
to share as much of this throughout the course of the day as I can.
Yeah.
I'm perfect everything, and I just have to share it so that when I go to bed, I'm lighter.
Totally.
You know,
Oh.
and then I wake up and I'm heavy with my perfection. I have to just like keep distributing it.
Unloading.
I'm imagining that's what it feels like.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can only
Him next to
imagine.
Mahershala, they're doing press together. I'm like, this is.
I know, and then they're with Scarlett too, and it's kind
No,
of
I'm
like
like,
the
who's
perfect
never
brigade.
looked better.
I've kissed Scarlett Johansson too, Johnny.
Yeah.
And no one's tweeting about that. That's okay.
There's nothing that drives me crazier than watching him make out with movie stars on that. Like Sydney Sweeney and Scarlett Johansson in the Bowen Straight sketches. I scream, I run like it's Megan 2.0. I literally, I leave the room.
You leave
do
your
I not?
apartment.
I
You do, you
cannot.
leave the room.
I have a reaction when
What
he does
is
his
it? What
straight
is the
thing.
reaction? Is it?
that's
Are
my
you
friend.
thrilled?
Discomfort. I'm just like,
Discomfort.
because he used to years
You're
ago.
like, it's my friend. I'm proud. He's like, no, I'm uncomfortable and I hate it.
Because back in the day, like you and Sweetie would kiss on the mouth
Yes,
too
yes,
a little
yes.
bit, and it drove
Once
me
a
nuts.
year.
Because you were like, this is a scam.
I was
you
like,
are
don't
scamming everyone.
be doing that.
It's a
My
stunt.
mom said to me one time, she goes, I didn't know Bowen and Sweetie were dating. And I go, they're not. I was just like, they are not.
They're not.
A little
Misleading.
barb.
You're passing too much.
I know.
Oh,
I'm
you're
passing.
passing. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Can I just tell you?
Thank you. I'm
What?
glad you asked the question.
I
Allison
didn't
Williams
know until today.
was the culture that made you say culture was for you, because we have to talk about it.
Okay,
The
I
way
have
that
a
your people were
list.
like, there's a heart out at 10:20. I don't think
No,
it's
we're
gonna
not
happen.
making it.
Sorry.
No, we are. We have to.
Well,
respect.
okay, here are my culture things. Okay, I had to write them down because, again, see previous comment about not really
Go
having
off.
a working memory. Okay, Mary Poppins and Sound of Music. It's
go.
really Julie Andrews was why I knew acting was a job, because she did both of
Yes.
those roles.
Within
And
2 years.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
And how old was she? She was like
29.
It's
Fuck.
sickening.
Like
can't
realized
talk
and
about that.
perfect and cultivated.
Unbelievable. I met her and was Meredith Mark's level of incapable of behaving.
Did we say that on the mic yet?
Oh, I don't know. I think
did,
so.
we did.
So you
I think
world premiere
so.
of Megan 2.0, Meredith Marks is there. You were like, oh my
Chloe.
god.
With Chloe, I
Chloe
was like,
Marks.
I was Julie Andrews' level of incapable of handling it. Julie Andrews, I met at a PBS event like 10 years ago, which was perfect. I was like, we're supporting the arts and public television, and you're here. And I just was like, I don't matter. I had this urge to be like, you're why I do what I do. But then I was like, she doesn't know what I do. She also doesn't know if it's good. So I'm going up to her and being like, for all she knows, I'm like a terrible, just bad actress. And I'm like, you are the reason. But I was like, I need to tell you this.
need
And I
to.
don't expect anything from you because you don't know me from anyone. But
Right.
you've inspired me like to an amount that I can't possibly express. So she's
Beautiful.
like, she was my culture for a really long time, alongside Joan Rivers on Sesame Street.
Oh, come
Oh,
on.
my
Yeah,
God.
because
What a
Miss
pull.
Piggy, right? No.
Sally.
Oh, wait,
She
that was
did-
the Muppets, but Sesame Street is a different.
She did a Hello Dolly sketch, but with the S was the letter of the day. And I think I'm getting this right. Yes, and it was like, fact check this or not. I mean, whatever. It's just in the podcast. But it is some combination of Joan Rivers and Sesame Street and Sally to the
Yes.
tune of Hello Dolly. I think this is all right. Formative. I was like, she's sexy. She's funny.
Yeah.
She's like so sharp. I'm so relieved that I don't have to be judged by her.
Yes.
Like on a day to day, but I also miss her.
I
Yeah.
know.
Like
I
her.
would love to have been
I
judged by
wonder
her.
what.
I don't know. I feel like it
nowadays
might have
would have been
happened.
like. I wonder
don't
what
know. I
Joan
don't
Rivers'
know how-
commentary would have been.
I don't know
Right.
how I would feel. Yeah, I don't know how it would all go down.
She-
We've done a lot of growing as a culture that I think she was maybe committed to.
All
not
I know
doing.
is she definitely was a Trump 1.0 fan.
Because they were on the
Interesting.
yeah, because of Apprentice. Yeah.
Yes.
Totally.
That's right. Okay. Moving on from Joan Rivers on Sesame Street. I'm taking a hard 90-degree turn. Star Wars.
Yeah, let's go.
Very important. Harrison Ford was my first love, and I don't say that lightly. Christopher Plummer was close, but he
Yeah.
was still like a dad. I still
Scary
aligned
a
with him
little bit.
most. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
like stern and like,
Activating different synapses.
Harrison Ford
Yeah.
activated other synapses,
Yeah.
100%.
and I fell in love with him in a way that I was like, this is attainable. I can do this. Third grade, they re-released Star Wars in theaters, and I was like, this man is the most beautiful man I've ever seen.
He really is an overwhelming movie movies. Like we were just in Disneyland in Paris, and there's like an Indiana Jones section, and I was looking at him, and I was thinking like, I wasn't ready like when I was a kid to like confront this, because you know how you have those formative memories of like seeing like someone, and you're like he is like a manly type of sexuality that had to just take over the 80s
leather
and 90s.
smell.
Yeah.
It's so powerful. He's a carpenter. He didn't give a fuck. He was like, I'm here because I'm like, I didn't have a table to build.
Right. Like,
You know?
I don't have to be doing movies.
He's like, I've got a huge horizontal scar on my chin. I don't care.
John Wayne
Watch me
vibes.
just kill it, and I don't care.
Truly,
Really good.
like
unbothered.
Eve Babbitt's writing about meeting him before acting. It's like, oh, that guy is just world-endingly beautiful.
Oh
and
my
talented.
God, I just couldn't handle it. And so I felt very activated by Han Solo as a character, and I feel like I kind of absorbed Han Solo energy more than Princess Leia, which separated me from my peers. I feel like I wanted to be a kind of misanthropic alpha man. And it has kind of like the Lydia Tarr in me, which, by the way, this is sort of an homage. I feel like she would own this outfit. Sort of my little, like, you know, as the queen, as the queen of the podcast. Lydia Tarr, the queen of the podcast.
No, yeah,
It
she
felt like I
looms
needed
large
to-
for sure.
She looms large personally. She's in Megan's top four letterboxd, which
I saw that.
Oh my
Perfect,
God.
yeah,
Obsessed.
And then Get
So
Out.
Get
she
Out's
goes,
in it.
She goes like the girl who plays, you know, which is like, she's fine, but whatever.
Perfect. She owns me. So yeah, Star Wars felt like I was like, this is culture. This is important. I need to have like an encyclopedic knowledge of this movie. And then immediately when they started making more than the first three, I was like, I'm out. I can't keep up with this. But
totally.
the first three are like, that was
No,
really.
the first three are just like that's a culture that made me say culture for me.
Yeah, because it also was my introduction to nerd culture. And it was kind of
Fandom.
simultaneous with Nintendo 64. So I was like, is this my identity? Like,
my
am I?
God.
But it was so user friendly. And then when everyone like went gamer, I was like, I guess I'm not. Like, I bid you
I had to
adieu. I
bail
know you guys
too.
are back.
No, but you
No,
you guys are diverging on the same path. Like I went another way, y'all went.
Yeah.
and I totally
Because
respect.
when I could hold
Yeah,
the
Mario Kart. I'm like,
controller,
this is accessible.
like the N64 controller with the three prongs, and you could
So-
hold both. Like
Yes.
I knew how to hold that. I don't know how to hold this Wii.
There's two now. There's two prongs.
I found out about the re-release from this podcast. They
Did you
should
actually?
pay you guys. Yes.
Well,
I was like, they're making another
He'll
one.
break news in video games, and I'll break news in theme parks.
Yeah.
So, by the way, there's new permitting. Anyway, in Epic Universe.
This is our biggest divergence
Wicked.
as people.
So you
It's
don't
not
do
too
it.
late.
I can't do it.
You can't do it.
can't do
Overwhelming.
it.
What about the family?
Terrifying. Terrified.
Oh, terrified of rides.
Rides, theme parks, just people. I just.
Your
I don't-
son. What about your son?
I will do it for. I'll do anything for him. I mean, I let someone cut me open to bring him into the world. And
Yeah.
to bring up my C-section twice in this
I
interview.
love it. It's
Sorry,
fine. Talk about
it
it.
happened. It fucking sucked. But it produced the best thing in the
Best
world.
thing in the world.
But anyway, I will do it. I'll do it for him.
Yeah.
But I will. It's not like I'm gonna be like excited and taking him. I'll be like,
Yeah, you're gonna be
Okay.
you're gonna be the one kicking and screaming.
probably.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah,
be
yeah, yeah.
grumpy and hot, like in a stroller. Like
Just
I
go
don't
in,
worry.
go in February. I'm of course thinking you'll go to Orlando.
Of course.
see,
I'm
that's
of
the thing,
course
it's like,
thinking
it's a-
you'll go to Orlando is a sentence no one's ever said to me in
Yeah,
my life.
Honestly, how chic. How chic to be able to say that about yourself that no one would say that to you.
yeah.
Well,
All
sort of
they've ever
like-
told me is you're in Orlando most of the year.
No, but it's
right?
also part of the same thing where people would never be like, "Have you gone to Coachella?" No one has ever been like, "Are you a burner? Have you ever been to Burning Man?" They're like, "You need a bathroom that has a sanitizing towelette, a moist towelette." Why can't I say that word? I'm too tired.
no, but-
That's ready to wipe your seat down. Like you can't. You need money to be part of something. You can't be in a barter economy. Like they're just like you don't belong in these.
Know
milieux.
thyself.
So it's the same part as like you don't belong at. You don't belong. I will go. Like Megan is there. I will support my girl. Like I'll support my actual son. Like anytime I'll support you. If you're like I need you to be there, I will go there for you.
Because did they do a Megan haunted house?
They did. She was part of Halloween Horror
Halloween Horror
Nights.
Nights.
They don't have
Wow.
her, she doesn't have
Huge.
her own house.
Wow.
But yes, she's part of it. They danced.
Oh, they need her. They need to get her own house.
Can I tell you there are sanitizing towelettes or what like you
at
will
Burning Man?
at
Not
Orlando.
at Burning Man, at Orlando.
Okay, you're like,
in
we're
the
going back
parks.
to the first thing. They're absolutely not at Burning Man. There's
You
no
can have an
way.
experience you'd enjoy there
At Burning Man?
in Orlando.
Why am I so stuck on Burning Man? I'm like, do I want to go to Burning Man?
Okay, is it a thing where it's like, do you judge yourself for not being like a burner type?
I
Because
used
me
to.
too.
I wanted to project. I know we have this vibe. I wanted to
Here we go.
project an energy of like I might,
Yeah.
but in the last couple of years, I'm like I wouldn't like it. Why do I want to pretend to be someone who would enjoy it?
Totally. Okay.
My last culture.
Yes,
I
yes.
feel like I don't know if you guys have talked about this. It's so specific.
'Kay.
I'm looking at you because it feels more likely.
Let's go.
The Rapunzel episode of Storytime Theater with Shelley Duvall, who needed radishes
No, okay, I don't know this.
with pregnancy cravings.
I'm a Shelley Duvall girl, but
You
like I
never
don't
saw
know
Fairy
about-
Tale Theater?
No.
Sorry, Fairy Tale
No,
Theater.
no,
I said Storytime.
It
It is.
huge.
It was. I think it's what allows me to make Megan movies. Honestly,
Explain.
it is camp.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's high camp, but not educational. It's not Sesame Street camp. Can we call Sesame Street camp? I don't know. It's not that. It is.
I think it is.
Educational.
It's
camp,
like
yeah.
Shelley Duvall
Yeah, 100%.
being
right there.
full expression. Shelley Duvall.
Yes.
Full eye aperture. Like
A full eye aperture, full like giant wig sitting on a
Yes.
cliff while the wind blows.
big sets.
Big sets.
And you mean like it's how you know to eliminate the checkpoints to like get in there with Megan,
Just
look her in the
commit.
eyes, and do a scene.
Like tear up in a scene with her. Like play the stakes.
Yes.
Don't wink at the camera. Don't be cool girl now.
Yeah.
You can be in on it in prep, like for all the script drafts, in post for all the editing, everything. When I am there, and
Yeah.
even like in Video Village before I step into set,
Yeah.
like in that mode, when I walk into those scenes with Megan and she's telling me some shit and I'm emotional, you just have to.
That's Cool Girl Award. That's Cool Girl Award. That's what I'm telling
actually
you.
feel that.
Yes, of course you do.
You must. Otherwise, it's not fun for anyone to
It
watch.
wouldn't
We are all
work.
committed to the bit deeply, deeply, deeply.
Yeah.
Is Jenna on set reading the lines?
No, sadly, she does
All
it
good.
in a booth. All good. All good.
No problem. All
That's
good.
okay.
No, that's
You're
okay.
33.
That's okay.
That's okay.
That's okay.
No problem, Jenna.
You're not disappointing me.
You're okay. That's okay. That's okay. We're fine. I'm okay. Are you
I'm
okay?
great. Yeah. Yeah,
I'm
for
okay
sure.
that Jenna is not
wish
there.
Jenna would be on that.
Are you guys okay?
I just recently.
She's amazing, by the way.
She's amazing. I saw her I saw all of them last night. It was so fun. I love her.
Who else showed up to the Megan 2.0
We all
premiere?
did, and we are so close as a cast.
Aristotle.
Aristotle,
Oh,
Ari,
wow.
the other Ari.
The other Ari.
Yes, Aristotle, BJA.
Yeah.
BJA.
Amy, who is the physical, who was great on your show. Amy's the physical performer of Megan, was there looking. They are growing up so fast. I sound so old, but Violet and Amy. Violet plays Katie, my
Yes.
niece. She was there. Tim Sharp and Ivana Sakno, who you know because you've seen plays Amelia, was there, and
yes.
everyone. I mean, it was just.
Yeah.
And Jen Van Epps, who plays Tess. I mean, it was.
And
we
Meredith
are so
Marks.
close. And
Meredith
Meredith
Marks.
Marks, who's there without being in the movie. She's.
I love it.
In the movie, just in the way she influences me as a human being.
100%.
Anyway, that was my culture. That was my last culture.
Oh my god.
So what's the through line? Mary Poppins, Sound of Music, Joan Rivers on Sesame Street, Star Wars, and Rapunzel. Talk about the specific Rapunzel radishes episode.
I think it was sticky because I'd never seen anyone want radishes
Yeah.
and consume them in the way that she does. So she's having like pregnancy cravings and needs them transported to her. And the part of it that's sense memory-ish is watching someone like eat radishes and the delta between my level of enjoyment when I eventually got my hands on a radish and what the look on Shelley Duvall's face, like radicalized. Radicalized me. Radicalized me.
Radicalized.
And I was like, I don't know, it just crystallized this thing of like, this shouldn't be eaten this way. And it's not real. She made it feel real.
Yes,
Play the
because
stakes,
Yes,
play the stakes.
exactly.
because she was committed to the bit.
Exactly. And I was like, that is cool, to your guys' point. I was like, she's being cool. And I'm like really enjoying I'm in it and outside of it at the same time. It was one of my first experiences with that, I think.
Fabulous constellation of answers. Thank you for that.
A
Thank
fabric,
you for giving me an
woven
opportunity to think about
tapestry
it.
of culture.
Yes. Okay, we got to get you out. Let's
Okay.
try to think so, honey.
We got to do I don't think so, honey. So this is the 60-second segment that. What did you just show me on your phone? Are they texting you?
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
Well,
All good.
We got. Okay, good.
We have to do what we have to do.
We gotta do what we
have
gotta
to
do. Okay, so this is the 60-second segment we have on this podcast each and every week where we rant against something in culture. I do have something. It felt apropos.
Okay.
Here we go.
This is Matt Rogers. I don't think so, honey. His time starts now.
I don't think so, honey. Use of the term millennial as a slur nowadays.
yeah, no,
you know
it's
what,
done.
Gen Z? I have news for you. You're getting older every single second. And I have to tell you something. When you get to the point where you're our age, you're going to look back, you look stupid. Like the way that you guys dress, you look so stupid. I understand that we looked stupid. We did. Like the low
V-necks.
rise, the V-necks. Like I wore American Apparel like it was like I worked there. And I probably tried. You know what I mean? But like I can
30
own my
seconds.
cringe and I hope you get there because you look so stupid. Also, you're all queer, cool. At least we fuck. You're not even
Oh,
fucking.
Matthew.
You're queer. You want to fuck
Dagger.
everybody. You're not even using it. You're not even using it. You guys don't vote. At
15
least we
seconds.
vote. Here's the thing. Like, we're out here trying really hard, and I get that it's cringe, but use of the term cringe and millennial as a slur, it's like so boring. And I'll tell you what's worse than
seconds.
cringe, being boring. I don't think so, honey. Use of millennial as a slur. Please like us.
That's 1 minute.
Wow.
Beautiful, artful.
A masterclass.
Masterclass.
I tried.
Was
and
Gabriel-
that was very millennial of me.
Did Twink and Redhead bring this out?
No, it did. It was.
Yeah,
it,
where did
it
this
was,
come
it
from?
was
How did
like,
this come up
it
for
was
you?
a mixture. So it was like last night, like me being like, 30 plus thing, that definitely shook me. And again, they meant nothing by it. But also Marnie Michaels as millennial icon and Girls as millennial landmark show. And I think that's part of the reason why I'm so like, I think it's why it's hitting again, is because people now have aged into like a, not a self-consciousness, but a self-awareness where we can all really laugh. And we're all laughing at ourselves. So Gen Z being like, the millennial pause, like, and getting us self-conscious, it's like, no. We don't need that. We are self-aware. We're millennials. It's okay.
We have suffered through being alive.
Yes. The amount of times I've seen, and I don't know, it's because my phone knows that we're talking to you, but it's like that we were about to talk to you. But all the past week, it was just like, let's make fun of the girl who put herself out there. It's like, that's
yeah.
been resurfacing in such a huge way because of this thing where we're all like, okay, I think we're cresting the hill. Like, let's just move past
And
it.
another thing is, like, on TikTok, it's like, the millennial pause. Like, we did a TikTok the other day,
What
and
is the
Bowen said,
millennial
cut the
pause?
millennial pause.
It's like a video where it's like, hey guys, it's like,
Yeah.
you got it. You
That
got to
second.
trim that.
Because our phones have too many photos on them and they're just like slow and we assume that it takes a second to start.
It's that a millennial person will hit record and then it takes them a second to realize that
that it's filming, and so now I go. And the
You're supposed to,
Gen Z
you're supposed to
always
skim that off.
But the
before you
thing is,
post.
that
Got
is
it.
so stupid as a thing to pick on, and then I can't help but feel that in years' time, it's gonna be dumber that people were like, the millennial pause, than the millennial pause being a thing. Like, I think you guys, in the grander scheme here, are being uncool. I think it's less cool to call out the millennial pause than, like, to have it.
Sure. All right.
This is Bowen Yang's I Don't Think So, Honey. His time
gosh.
starts now.
I don't think so, honey. Idioms. I'm just saying in every language, it is linguistic gatekeeping. It's, unless you're a native speaker, you will spend the rest of your life trying to learn
That's
a
true.
French idiom and a Mandarin idiom. I don't know. Like, I don't know these things, even though I supposedly, like, spoke the languages at one point. English idioms, let's just go through a couple of them. Raining cats and dogs?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I don't get
What
that.
are you talking about?
There's
It's a great,
not make any
it's a great
sense.
question.
Just say it's raining very
30
hard.
seconds.
It's coming down out there. Well, that actually that doesn't quite
Back off that one.
Figurative language. I'm just gonna say figurative language. Beautiful has a place in our culture. Idioms
15
are this
seconds.
thing where it's like it's poetry trying to disguise itself as like colloquial shit, and it's like no. Let's just. I'm being a literalist
5
for the rest of
seconds.
my life. I cannot speak in these metaphorical, figurative things. Idioms. I don't think so, honey.
And that's 1 minute. See, this I
Wow.
feel like is one of the great AP comp, like.
Yes, I wanted
episodes
to
in
talk
Lost
to you about
Culture
French.
history.
We'll sidebar about it.
We'll talk about French.
Your French is great.
no,
Well, first
no,
language.
No.
I can hear it. Even in a
he was a
casual.
godsend to have in France.
Yes, in a casual word. Anyway, we'll talk about it off mic.
Okay.
Okay.
But yes, you are absolutely right.
Yes.
And the videos I love the most of other cultures are the ones where they say their idioms out loud in English,
Yes.
so we can hear what they sound like. And they're like, we know this is crazy,
Right.
and you'll never learn how to say this, but we say this to each other.
All right. This is Allison Williams. I don't think so. Time starts now.
Okay, cilantro's got to go. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I just can't.
okay.
I can't anymore. I can't tell you to leave cilantro out. Is there cilantro in this? Or are we calling it coriander? I just can't. And this is it. It has to go. I'm done. I'm sorry. Loud places. Why? I can't be in a loud place.
No.
I can't be in a loud place. I can't be in a loud restaurant. I have an app that tests decibels. I know the decibel level of New York City restaurants. I will not go if
Yes.
it is too loud. What's the point? Close talking because of loud places. I don't want to smell your breath. I don't want to feel it on my body. I don't want to get hors d'oeuvre on my face.
Ew.
Get back
30
off.
seconds.
Do not talk to me too close. People who like fish and eggs and eat them in the world with the rest of us. Stop. Keep your disgusting food kink like cilantro to yourself. I don't want to be in the same room as an egg-based product or a fish product. Keep it somewhere else.
15 seconds.
Lack of monoculture we already talked about. The last one is I actually do need sleep, but I identify as someone who doesn't, and I hate it. I loved that I was a 4 hours a night person in high school and college. I miss her terribly. She is gone. I need 8. I need to accept this, and I don't want to, so I don't think so, honey, needing sleep.
And that's 1 minute. And she used to be mine.
That song. Don't
That
sing.
song.
We go off for another hour.
We need to hear you sing this at some point in the future because she has to go. Megan 2.0. It's in theaters June 27th. Go see it. It's so fucking good. The moment is I can't spoil it. I wanted to say it. I wanted to say the singer, but
yeah, it'll
be such a delightful surprise to you.
It explodes the theater.
It explodes
We're
the
so
theater.
happy
fun.
you were here. Thank you
for
so
having
much
you guys.
for coming.
So
I
much.
love you both. I feel confident dropping that hard L.
Love you.
Thank you for the hours and days, cumulatively months of entertainment.
Oh, come
Thank
on.
you for just everything, and thank you for recognizing me as cool. Low key before I did. I'm
little
so
guitar,
grateful.
And you've RSVP'd, yes, and we appreciate it.
And I RSVPS as well. Love
All
you.
right. And we end every episode with the song, whoo! That was like sort of a coup of a Defying Gravity. Bye.
Bye.
Did you like that?
Looking for more?
Well, then hit that like and subscribe button and watch more culture with us.
Here on the Las Culturistas YouTube channel.